As some of you may or may not know, for the matter of fact, I used to be pretty big into the Mario Kart Wii community, and something that's always fascinated me is ultra shortcuts, how they work, how they can be abused to set godly times on different races, and how people use them competitively to be the best in the world on specific tracks. But where did it all start? That's what we're going to look at today, with the evolution of the Mario Kart Wii Grumble Volcano ultra shortcut and how it changed the game forever. Mario Kart Wii was released on April 10th, 2008 in Japan and April 11th, 2008 in Europe. And from the initial launch, the game sold over 4.7 million copies by August 1st. That's a lot of copies to sell in just over 3 months. But by this time, there was one track that had already been completely broken beyond repair, and that track is Grumble Volcano. Grumble Volcano, known as Guru Kazan in its Japanese counterpart, is the fourth and final track in the saga of Mario Kart Wii. It consists of falling meteorites, lots of lava, and parts of the map falling apart over time. For many new players, this would be the most difficult track up to the point in the game, having not reached the crown cup at this stage. However, players like Ridley would uncover this track secret would be the start of a sequence of game-breaking glitches called Ultra Shortcuts. Before we look at the glitch found by Ridley that broke Mario Kart Wii forever, we should first look at what exactly an Ultra Shortcut is. An Ultra Shortcut is a shortcut in which the player misses what is known as a key checkpoint, most typically the first key checkpoint of the race, to skip the majority of the track and activate the last key checkpoint before the lap line. The only key checkpoints loaded in at one time are your next key checkpoint and the previous one. So say a track has 4 key checkpoints. If you would skip key checkpoint 1, key checkpoint 4 would still be loaded, meaning when you cross that checkpoint, your counter will update from 0 back to 4, meaning when you cross the line, the game will register that you have crossed the last key checkpoint, granting you the lap. However, if you fail to skip key checkpoint 1, the game counter will update, and checkpoint 4 will be deactivated until you reach checkpoint 3. This means that when you reach key checkpoint 4 after skipping the track, the game will register you crossing the checkpoint, hence your lap will not be counted. Also, why when you cross the lap line backwards, your lap count doesn't go up when you cross the line again, as the counter will just take 1 lap from you until the line is crossed again. This also means you can't drive backwards over the lap line to go back to key checkpoint 4, as your lap counter may show 1 out of 3, however the game knows in reality your current lap should be 0 out of 3. Another thing to keep in mind is what is known as the 95% rule. This is a lot to take in, so I'll link a video in the description of a more in-depth guide, but basically the 95% rule is where the game looks at how much of the track you completed, and if you skip more than 95% of the race, the game assumes that you skipped a lap. However, if you skip less than 95%, it assumes you did an extra lap and will grant you the lap. A key example of this would be in Sherbet Land, but that's where it gets complicated. With that out of the way, let's get into the beginning of the biggest Mario Kart Wii revolution and what started it all. June 1st, 2008. The game had been released just 2 months prior, and people were starting to get used to the new physics, setting fast times on all the tracks the game had to offer. At this point, no so-called major game-breaking glitches had been found, at least not before this day. A time trialer by the name of Ridley would upload a ghost time with a 30-second time save, showcasing this major glitch. Now the gameplay I'm showing is by Alvin, as I couldn't find Ridley's ghost data save anywhere, but it shows off the same glitch that Ridley used in his ghost time. Now the trick used in this ghost time was a huge game changer, with the record being set 18 times on the same day from here. What's even crazier is how Ridley's time of 1:35 would be cut down to a 23.512 second run by a player known simply as Matt, all in one day. The key difference between Ridley's run and Matt's run is the difference in execution between each of their runs. Each run would involve the initial method of completing a lap to get to the last ramp, jumping off the ramp to land on the rock, leaving only enough time to ride around the rock once, maybe twice if you pushed it lucky, before the rock would then sink. Well, it's either that or because the glitch hadn't quite been figured out yet, people didn't want to throw their good lap times if this is only going to be possible to do once per race. However, Matt's run used a completely different tactic which was found later in the same day, giving an extra minute of time save between Ridley's run and the first run to implement this new method. The 3-lap stream dash method is a method used in the faster time trials, where the player will use a mushroom to boost onto the rock at the start of the race by standstill mini-turboing in a specific alignment, popping a wheelie, and then using the stream to gain additional air to launch themselves onto the rock, allowing for any time wasted going around the track on the first lap to be completely cut out. This also took out the method of turning around, using a mushroom to hit the rock behind you, to then get a respawn, to then just boost right off the ramp. While there's no time trial footage left of how this method came to be about, the best assumption I can make is that it was founded by a player known as Mick. The first actual footage of this method that I could find was a run by Toshika, which I'll show here. After just one day of this glitch being discovered and heavily practiced from people, the time save will be a total of 1 minute and 13 seconds down from Ridley's initial discovery time, but this is just the beginning of how crazy this run starts to get. Over the next month, the Grumble Volcano glitch's time trial will save about another 2 seconds by a Japanese player known as the name of Toshiki, down to 21 seconds and 9 milliseconds. This record will be standing for the next month without being broken by anyone. This is the longest time up to this point the record would stand for on this track in the game's short history. For a long time here, the records would stop being taken so quickly and would stand for a much longer time. The record wouldn't be as easy as it was just to take, or at least it wasn't at the time. February 24th, 2012, a time would be set that would stand for the longest time this track had seen to date. A time of 19 seconds and 300 milliseconds would be set by Niaki, who had single-handedly been setting the past 10 records on the track, only twice being taken from him by King Alex. By this point it was looking like the record would belong to Niaki for probably eternity, as after 5 years nobody had been able to take the record off of him. That is, until January 14th, 2017. Alex would come back with a vengeance, taking Niaki's 5-year standing record on the track with a 41 millisecond time save, setting a time of 19 seconds and 259 milliseconds. After 5 years, somebody had finally taken the long-standing crown from Niaki. Finally, it was someone else's turn to hold this record. Well, for about 2 months, until Niaki took it back again with an incredible 200 millisecond time save. The craziest part about this isn't the time save, but the fact that it meant that a sub 19 seconds would and will be possible. June 3rd, 2017, 9 years after the initial Ultra Shortcut was found, history would be made again. Alex would be practicing runs on Grumble Volcano, attempting to take the time to shave a few milliseconds off of Niaki when this happened. He had done it. The first sub 19 seconds on Grumble Volcano, something that had been in the making for over 9 years, had finally been achieved. But he wouldn't stop there. A month after, Niaki would take the record from Alex, saving a mere 19 milliseconds. This would stand just over a year, when Alex would take the crown for the last time. On November 17th, 2018, Alex set a time of 18.641 seconds, closing on the sub 18.5 seconds. The next two records would be set also by Alex, but something about the last record would stand out. Characters in Mario Kart Wii have the different stat boosts for each vehicle depending on the character chosen and vehicle picked. All of the records have been set so far by Baby Mario on the Nanobike. However, Alex's best time would be set by Toad on the Nanobike, with a time of 18.553 seconds. Baby Mario had a stat boost of weight +3 and handling +2, whereas Toad had a stat boost of +2 acceleration and drift. This would make Toad faster for speeding up around the short straights, and also have a tighter drift, shaving off seconds so it would be far more difficult if the player uses Baby Mario on the Nanobike. Something about this run must have made Joshua, known by Glitch, curious about trying different character vehicle combinations, as on February 15th, 2019, something incredible would happen. He would set the first 18.5 second sub on the Quacker. This new vehicle toxic would prove to be insane, as over the next 4 years the record would be shaved down from Joshua's 18.474 seconds down to the current record of 15.425, a 3-second time save, something that when using the Nanobike would have been near to impossible. The difference between the two vehicles mainly comes down to the acceleration. The acceleration of the Quacker is far more than the acceleration of the Nanobike. This allows players to still have the advantage of Baby Mario's weight and handling boost, while theoretically taking Toad's acceleration boost with the Quacker. All of the records over the last 4 years would be all set with a noticeable cut on the first lap, cutting from around 9 seconds down to about 6, mainly due to the acceleration boost given by the Quacker. Laps 2 and 3 would both have about half a second save each. The reason as to why the Quacker would save about 3 seconds on the first lap is because of the acceleration at the beginning would be much more, so getting onto the rock would be a lot quicker, and just speeding around the corners just completely saves the time that it takes the Nanobike to speed up at the beginning. As of the date of this video, the current record is set with a near perfect time yet again by Niake, set on April 23rd, 2023, with a 15.425 seconds. No new groundbreaking strategies have been discovered to cut any more large time saves off since Joshua's discovery, but that doesn't mean there won't be. Will a sub 15 seconds be possible? Will Alex come back and take the crown for his nemesis Niake once again? That's for the future to decide. Thank you for watching.